I'm just going to bring it back and highlight that va. It literally means space, va, but it's a Samoan space, and it's not linear and it's not empty, but these open spaces that you bring people and things together, and then once you've brought them together, how you look after them, how you manaki them, and then how you sustain that relationship too. So it's a very relational space, and that really connects us with the past, and it allows the past to be very much in the present and the now, because the Polynesian body is a genealogical space, and it's the body's the vessel that allows the past to be in the present. So actually, we're not just the past, we're the present, but we're the future as well. APT8's actually allowed me to have physical space for the SaVAge Club. I'm really hoping that through being able to look at some of the museum collections in this club room that's got graffiti arts and our own personal collections and art, that they can hopefully look at the museum collections in a different way, that maybe they might experience them sort of not through the gaze of the past, but they can actually look at them and how they are in the now. in the dark, in the sea, there is a waka flying over the water, surging through white noise, floating heavy in the wind. I am that long, dark night. I am unlimited potential, untethered, volatile, as deep as I am long. I will envelop you, imbibe you, lash you to the prow of that waka. Do not stare at the sun. Do not stare at the chiefs. Stare at me. I am the dark, soaking up the light, taking it for my lover, devouring it, fucking it. Yet I bear no cloth, no womb, just the entrails of Te Pō, washed in the sea. The gods will follow, they will not touch, and nor will you. I am tapu, untouchable. Only food will clear the way. I'll prepare your feasts. These bared breasts are not for you. I am not here to startle your desire, but to render you noa as you walk amongst our gods. This naked body clothed in ceremony. You can look, but you can't touch. You can't. They have built a wall. It is made of glass. It contains the past. Komuri, komuri kia, kokohia, meri takutina napa kamahie taku. Wahirua no tereri, poro, raru, mahara e. Ka haere au pite mahunga, kakiake te mahunga, miki te mate puhuna. Iri te tonu ki te whakatau aki. Homia ki ngā maunga kia huria koe. E ngā haua tawhiri mateia. He ho mai mo mahara. Ere he runga e raharo. Hayopi wangi uiata kuti nana whakahora takukaha whakapainga horuia whakawate te huaraki ki te pono te katika ki te ao rama e
Ancestors of the Turtle, ancestors of the Yaga, we ask that you will welcome us to your land. We acknowledge this is your land. We ask your blessing on all these treasures and of all these people who have come from across the border. We ask your blessing on Burma. We ask your blessing on all those who have come to this ceremony. We acknowledge you that this is your land. Always was, always is, always will be.
Sorry if I mispronounced your name. Now you know what we feel like. SaVAge Club.
People have been making music for a long time, with sticks and with skin, with bows and with strings. Our need to create has not changed, but technology has continued to evolve. Technology has just taken a giant leap forward.
So the first con one is to cultivate. And that's, again, going back to the VAR and this relational space. When cultivate is not just the research, that it's the research phase, but it's not just cultivating knowledge, it's cultivating relationships, who you're going to work with, and then how that's ongoing. And so, yeah, so in your journey for knowledge, you know, it's not just about the words in a book or something you see, but it's about the people that you bring in and that will help support you, that will help you move forward in your journey for knowledge speaking. And then also, you know, it's when you find the idea or you find the story that you want to articulate. And so you're cultivating. It's just like, you know, gardening. You're really nourishing it, and you have to work hard at it. You know, it depends what sort of garden you want. You know, so that search for knowledge. You know, sometimes we get it from our elders. A lot of times, especially with my experience, the knowledge I was seeking, they didn't want me to know because they were scared, because it wasn't from the Christian values. So I've spent a lifetime trying to find a way that the Christian values and our Indigenous values can sit side by side rather than one being on the other or one or the other. So I really started to cultivate that journey within me of it's okay to know a lot of those stories. We call them purako. And rako is tree, and so, you know, often our people, you know, we look out to our relationship with nature, and also our relationship to all the atua, all the entities and the ancestors, and the, you know, what is your name for atua, for our gods and goddesses? Yeah, so it's a really important relationship. And we'll be connecting to a lot of this when we go inside, because everything they made has come from nature. So it's one of our first, it's one of our first va, our va tapuia. It's our sacred va with the Creator and all that is created. So it's not just for humans. It's not just, you know, it's every rock, every tree, every leaf. So we sort of we're going to sort of, and that's all built into this cultivation period. So, and that to me, when you've got the foundation, you've cultivated, everything just runs smoothly from then. You've already laid a map out.
Savage thoughts addictive to your system.
I'm a savage, classy, bougie, nasty.
SaVAge Club.
It brands itself as one of the world's most significant exhibitions of contemporary Asian and Pacific art. But the Asia-Pacific Triennial is more than a showcase for the region's leading artists. Since its inception in 1993, the event has helped develop strong cross-cultural relationships. Australia-wide's Kathy McLeish went along to see the final preparations and meet two key exhibitors.
It's been years in the planning, but the final push is always a frenzy of activity and anticipation. And while it may be the 8th Asia-Pacific Triennial, the event is still one of a kind.
The APT is the only recurring exhibition worldwide that looks at the contemporary art of Asia, the Pacific and Australia. And that combination is unique. It creates unique art and unique possibilities and dialogues.
More than 80 artists and hundreds of staff and volunteers bringing these possibilities to life at the Queensland Art Gallery and Gallery of Modern Art.
Somehow we're going to have to balance out all of this, though.
A week and a half before the official opening, New Zealand artist Rosanna Raymond is overseeing her piece.
So the canoe's going to go over here.
The SaVAge Club is based on a colonial gentleman's club from the 1800s.
There's quite a few distasteful elements to it, so I was just trying to reappropriate it in a really positive way.
She's drawn on her experiences working with museums in London.
These collections everywhere in the world, even here in Queensland, they've got beautiful Pacific collections, and it's really important to bring them to life.
The contemporary clubhouse mixes precious local pieces with everyday items.
So that you have the museum collections with our own personal collections, alongside works of art, alongside sort of grubby little hands that can touch them and feel them and breathe life into them.
Prabhakar Pashpute is bringing his piece to life. He has just days to fill Goma's enormous foyer wall.
It has a title called Extension. That means it's about the extension of the mining and extension of the exploitation about the land.
For 3 generations, his family has mined coal in central India. Now his hands are stained too, with the charcoal he uses to tell their stories from a region where he says mining has run out of control.
The displacement of the people and displacement of the earth. It's just both. Since my childhood, I've been seeing there was one huge drag line. And it is 300 hectares, land which had been transformed. And the people moved from one place to another places.
The search for artists is ongoing. Prabhakar's work was unearthed in his hometown.
We were in Mumbai and we happened upon a gallery that was artist run. We didn't know even if it was opened or not, and then arrived in this space and he'd drawn one of his charcoal drawings directly onto the wall, and we were completely mesmerised.
Maud Page travels the world to select the art.
That's one of the exciting things of the APT, is that aspect of commissioning, so that you're seeing very new and fresh work every time. As we're finishing this one, or installing this one, I should say, we're thinking about the next one.
Each APT is 3 years in development. It takes 25,000 labour hours to set up, but the end result is a 5-month festival encompassing art, performance, cinema and a children's program. Just installing some of the key pieces is a work of art.
These huge big logs that can be up to 1.3 tonnes and that have that long history, and to bring them into the gallery to then create something has been I've found quite revealing and spectacular for us. We've got a Korean artist called Haegyu Young who has created a beautiful piece for us. It's like a chandelier. It's got 1,000 blinds, about so small.
Last time, more than 500,000 people took part in the spectacle. So, Maud, is this normal? It's 3 days before the APT is due to open and there's so much going on still.
There is quite a bit of going on, but as you would have seen from looking at the two galleries, we're almost there.
Even the cafeteria is transforming. Prabhakar Pashpute's mural already towers over proceedings. And despite appearances, Rosanna Raymond is almost ready to host guests.
Sort of like your grandmother's space, where you've got all your best pieces in the cabinets and all your favourite pieces and all the things that have memories for you.
Performers are taking their places, preparing to meld the past and the present. Looking forward to the opening.
I am so looking forward to the opening. I will deserve a nice cold beverage by then.
A chance for everyone to take a breath, step back and enjoy.
It's finally great to be here and to actually make it happen.
We put the VAR into the SaVAge, interfacing time and space through the deployment of hip shakers, myth makers, fabricators, activators to instigate the non-cannibalistic cognitive consumption of the other.
My leather black jeans on. My body.
What does a 21st century SaVAge look like?
I'm a Melanesian SaVAge every day, 24/7.
Howdy, my name is Dakota, and I'm from Wuhan. The first people are the Tautau Hata, and I'm here today at the SaVAge Club.
Bulovina. We just came, we gate crashed this SaVAge Club party. I'm the fun-loving cannibal from Fiji. With the SaVAges, we like to have our own artists, but it's nice to share it with other people. It is our inaugural, so you never know what's going to happen with SaVAges.
I am doing an activation that speaks to the Melanesian adornment, which is referencing the adornments from Papua New Guinea, and that's why I'm wearing the blooms on my head. I'll also have some shells and be offering them to people to press into the clay, and then once that's dry, it will become an adornment that I might wear at a later stage for another activation.
My work is all grounded in our connection to the Tanu, which is what the Tautau Hadza know as the land of the Whenua. And I've been traveling and I've been seeing my role as a contemporary artist to be following the pathways of our navigators, and here to share a way for us to enter onto the Rainbow Bridge and carry a prayer, a song, a dedication for the healing of the planet, the healing of the people of the planet, back to the realm of the Atua. My body is a vaka, already at sea, so kid kaha. No, am I fucking papa? So am I channeling wide open with the permission of the signer.
P to the K, chi-chi, that's why we're here, just coming clear. Tropical styles, tropical breeze, coconut trees, blooming like fruits, coming through the shoots. Island is here, not forgetting the roots.
It's just about living art. It's about art of bringing people together and just trying to get it outside the confines of a box.
Rosanna engages with open space, the VAR, the way she carries the space and the way she brings people on journeys with her is really, really special, and she opens up really important conversations. She empowers people, and I was very lucky to be a part of that process.
We share a lot of respect for our tupuna, and I think that's what brought us together. We have many aspects to us, and now we're just growing every day, and it just depends on what it's going to be and how it's going to be, and that's how we roll.
Hi there, it's Daryl Jones here reporting for 2222. I'm here at the Arts Festival and we're going to interview a few people.
My name is Dakota Alcantara Kamatsu, and I come from the first people of Wuhan. The funny thing about the word indigenous is it literally means from a place, from the earth. Literally, if you break it down etymologically speaking, we're all from a place. We all have a story. We call it halekta. We all have roots, and those roots go to a place, and it's just about holding those roots up and holding what's sacred.
I'm the founding member of the SaVAge Club, so lifelong president. So I'm responsible for the gathering of the people and the conviviality of the afternoon. And we were invited to take part in art weeks and do something. So when I came and saw St. Kevin's Arcade, I was like, ooh, it'd be nice to have a high tea.
Yes, this is like the Pacifican or Maori way of Halloween, this is our Halloween, We want to bring out our cultures and stuff and just, dress up. And so I'm the fun-loving cannibal from Fiji. So I grew up in Fiji, my roots is from Fiji, but Wallace Futuna, Samoa, Scottish as well, all up in there.
SaVAge Club, the history of it goes way back, but it goes through a system that sort of parallels where we come from. So this is the alternative version of the SaVAge Club. It's just another way of putting a spotlight on different issues that go on with community.
We do a lot of stuff just to actually spend time together and explore, and so money's not the driving force of what we do. But yeah, one day we'd love to have our own club rooms so that we can, put on more events and do more things.
Greetings to the Fiji Museum, the house that has given us the space, and acknowledge my friend Katrina and Sachiko who in a long-winded way have brought us all together here today. May I acknowledge you, may I thank you, may I thank you once, may I thank you twice, may I thank you 3 times. May I greet all the people out there in YouTube land, all the SaVAges. Mama SaVAge is here at the Fiji Museum. We're about to meet some beautiful people and have an exploration into being together in the world as Indigenous people here in the 21st century. Yeah, that's me, and I'm gonna pass this. It's only fair that we go this way.
Oh, this upward angle is not the most attractive, is it? Now I'll see it.
Yes.
Yeah. Suck it all in. Everybody, thank you so much for coming with us. Thank you all of you for joining us. Rosanna and I first crossed paths in England, of all places, at the University of Cambridge, one of the oldest institutions in England that holds specific material as well. So we came together at times that we didn't know we needed each other, wanted to know each other, would ever work together any longer than the hour we spent together the first time. And it's been a long 15-ish year journey. Yeah. Okay. And I was very fortunate to be with Rosanna at her very first SaVAge Club in Vancouver. And I've been on the walk ever since. And she's dragged me into a few things. And she added a few things. That's how Sachiko and I really met, was here on this museum veranda as well. So we're so happy you're here with us. I'm so happy to show you some of the collections. The museum right now is in a state of renovation. So like I told you earlier, there's nothing in the galleries to see. So that's why we're going into the stores. But the stores are the best bit of the entire museum, in my opinion. And there's lots of stuff up there at the moment because it's preparing for the opening of this new gallery. So it's going to be a really exciting day, and just being able to feel, I think, what's in there. It's just beautiful. So thank you very much for being with us today, and you look terrified.
Welcome back, everyone. My name is Katrina, and coming here today, I didn't realize that the workshop was going to be so open like this. Like I feel at home, like I feel comfortable, because I was coming here like feeling like, oh, we're gonna be dancing. I didn't know that it was going to feel so homey, and I'm very fortunate that I get to meet amazing people like both of you today. And I also want to thank Chico for giving me this opportunity to be a part of this workshop. And I'm going to be very open-minded. I'm going to try and give as much knowledge as I can for this opportunity, and also taking what you people are going to teach us today. And I think we are very fortunate people to meet amazing people like you, and I'm grateful for that. Yeah.
So, Bolunaka, my name is Christopher Kay. Coming today, so glad to have me here. I think Chico and the two beautiful ladies from Aotearoa. Today I'm going to be open-minded. Hope that I learn a lot from you guys, and more about things we are about to teach us. Thank you. Love.
Bulavinaka. My name is SaVÄge Tuni. I'm from a beautiful island of Mabukalangau, island of Fiji. I'm a professional dancer here in Fiji. It's been an honor and a privilege to be here, learning some new experience, new things. Really can't wait to learn some more. Some to be a sponsor. Thank you very much, Satiko Soro, for giving me an opportunity, and two lovely ladies. Can't wait for more fun.
Thank you. Bulavinaka, everyone. Sachiko. I'm so happy to be here to see you guys. I love you both with all my heart. And why am I crying? I just love and respect you so much, and I just adore and respect everything that you stand for. And I think that these voices in the world are so important to challenge powerful people and powerful institutions, that there's a voice for people that don't have a voice. And for you to come here and share, the experience and strength and insight that you've had from all over the world to come and share with us is really beautiful. I'm such a Cancer, I always cry. And I wish that everyone could have come today. Like, I really wish, this is like the yummy stuff. Like, this is the yummy stuff that we get to do as artists, as we dig. I mean, I've lived here my whole life, and I've never been in the back room of the museum. I'm so excited about today. This is like treasure hunting. So this is really, really, really exciting. And I think that it's moments like today where we have those aha moments and that really grow and stretch us as artists. And you guys all here today are such amazing, incredible artists, and you're gonna bring so much to this this project. And I'm really excited for what you're gonna learn and how this will influence your creative practice going forward. Because you're in great hands. Rosanna and Katrina are both such amazing, brilliant, creative minds. And I know that I haven't seen you guys in a few years because of COVID and stuff, but I'm always following everything you do online, yes, just commenting, you go, yes, and I came and visited you both in England that time, and we've kept in touch in New Zealand over the years as well. So I'm really excited I know that this is the starting point, and I know that this project, if I know you two, this project will grow and develop and grow wings and fly away. So I'm really excited that this is day one of something really special. Can't really stop talking now. Thank you. Yeah.
Nisambuluvinaka Arnayandra. My name is Andiseni Mbulikula Batualiwali. I am from Kavulana Kortumbura, Basuirutuma, and I am 22 years old, and I am a professional dancer. And I can't believe I get to say that. First of all, thank you very much for this opportunity to be here. I think it's very important to learn more, especially about our own history, especially when our own education system doesn't really enforce that much on it. And me myself personally, I'm hoping to learn as much as I can about my own culture, because I've always been told in the well, as long as I'm comfortable, I don't really look outside. And hope now that things have been changing, and hopefully that changes, and I want to see more outside of my well, especially, and learn more about my own well. Because apparently there's a lot I don't know about it. Thank you very much.
Hello, everyone. My name is Spencer. I'm 21 years of age. Being here is such a great opportunity because this is like my first time to go out for a workshop, and thank you so much, Chico, for choosing me to come here for the workshop. And thank you guys so much for having us here. And we hope to learn more and more from you. Thank you.
Boleh bilang ke everyone, my name is Giovanna Varela. I'm from Loto Rotuma, Basuya Lokumba. I don't know what word to describe how I feel right now being here. I feel really honored and lucky, grateful. Just hearing what you shared with us about the SaVAge Club. I'm 100% sure I would stand with you and what your club believes in. As a young person who's started learning about where she's from, just earlier on, really passionate about what you did. And thank you, Sachiko, for extending our artistic matu wale to you guys and to the gang for watching live. It's a real honor, and I'm looking forward to learning more. And what can I say? I think over the past few years, as Pacific Islanders, we've been trying to reclaim our lands, but I'm so grateful for this generation because we're trying to not only reclaim but also share the significance of what we're trying to reclaim. So thank you so much for inviting us. Thank you.
Hello, Vinaka, everyone. My name is Shail, and I'm from Ba. I'm really honored to be here. This is my first time at the Fiji Museum, and as soon as I got here, my mind was totally blown. I was like, "Whoa, this is so crazy!" I'm gonna learn so many things, and I can't wait to go back home and share this with my friends and my family, what I learned today, and also to share a little bit of my knowledge with you all. Thank you so much.
Camera's nice. Malam pula, my name is Mala, and I am 20 years of age. I am really, really, really excited to be here. On the way here, I was talking to Sachiko, and I was saying I'm so excited to go to the museum because I've never been here. And when I was talking to Dr. Katrina, I was like, "Oh, I can't wait to go inside." And she was like, "Oh, but there's nothing inside to see, but we're gonna go to the store." I was like, "Oh, that's even better." So as the first time I come in here, I'm genuinely stoked. And I'm so grateful for this opportunity, Mr. Chico, for extending the invitation to the dancers and to all of us, and for bringing us down, and to Dr. Katrina for allowing us in your space, and Rosanna for being here with us today. And we cannot wait for you to teach us whatever it is that you're going to teach us, and we're so excited. And we welcome you to our beautiful island of Fiji with open arms, and we're so excited to learn everything that we're going to learn, and hopefully exchange knowledge
Yes,
on
exchange.
this workshop and share some amazing stories together. So, yes.
I think we've got one more hiding around the back.
My turn.
Lily shy till the camera.
Hello everyone, my name is Sireni. I'm not too sure if you all know me. Dr. Trin and Sachiko know me. I've been working at the museum for the past 3 years through the wonderful project that Sachiko and Dr. Katrina headed. And so just two things really. When people come to the museum, first things I always tell Sachiko, we love to host at the museum and seeing all your faces here and with this wonderful project that Ro is heading, it's such a wonderful opportunity for us. And another thing is that when I always take people, even though we're close, we have people coming in, dignitaries. When we take them in, we try and tell them, we try and move away from a sanctified Christian lens and just go in as a person, as an indigenous person. And don't bring in all sorts of these things you've learned in school or from anywhere else. You come in and you just engross yourself in whatever's there. And the other thing is, whatever we hold in the museum, apart from those that have been bought by the missionaries and the Europeans, the indigenous objects, they are part of ancestral knowledge, which has been there for centuries. And so it's just a testament, to the knowledge and the wisdom of our elders and those who came before us. So once again, thank you for being here. Thank you, Ro, for heading this initiative. And thank you, Dr. Trina, for the opportunity.
And Cyril has been very modest, but he, the group of interns at the museum in particular, have created a completely new youth-focused lens on the museum. If you've seen them in the past 2 years, with all of the work they've been doing, the virtual open days, the videos they've produced, the 6 of them have been instrumental, as all of you are in your field, in helping to bring this open-mindedness back to cultural heritage, indigeneity, and yeah, so we're incredibly proud of Lily and all of the interns that have been here.
Oh. Sorry.
Voila. I'll just bring us all together with a little karakia. It just talks about how we bind ourselves together through humanity, through the great ocean of Moana. Then we can, and that will be our space open, and then we can get into the business of talking about how we're going to go, and maybe some little things, to yeah, do it with you. Yeah. So ka haere tātou whakumua, tehe wā Māori ora. Tuia te tuka, tuia te muka te tangata mai, hawai ki nui, hawai ki roa, hawai ki pau mama. Kuku me ngā heringa, whakauru ngā taura. Kuku me ngā heringa, whakauru ngā taura. Kotahi te wairua e, homi e, hui e, tai. Space is open, and our necklace here, which I think I'll look after today, will contain all our beautiful modi, all our beautiful spirit that we create and share. So I think we're going to turn it over to Katrina to just talk about, and this is an open space. If you need to go to the bathroom, the kai is on the table. Go grab yourself some kai. So it's not a schoolroom. So and so it is a help yourself space to and we'll just prepare ourselves to actually how we do enter the space, and I think that's a really good conversation for us to have, especially if you haven't been inside and met your ancestral past like this before. Sometimes a lot of emotions come out, feel a lot of things, and that is absolutely okay. And I think in the afternoon, well, our first session after is to try and help articulate that through words, and then later on we'll get into the body. So, because I know you're all good with the body, so so it really will be a journey. Yeah, and we really are planting a seed. This is planting a seed for. It's not just today. It's not just tomorrow, and it's not even about the project that I'll talk to you about, Vatamatia, which is in Birmingham. Really hoping to plant the seed so that the museum space and the cultural heritage that lies within just becomes a beautiful, normal part of the toolbox that your ancestors have laid down for you. So, and yet that you'll know who to call, how to come in, so it's not somewhere big and kind of like, oh, I don't know. So that's a big part of today is how can we make this more accessible to you? And then, how can we take that out into the Te Ao Māori, into the big world, because I don't know but there are hundreds and thousands of our cultural heritage artifacts. Yeah, I'd say millions out there in the world. So that's pretty much the beginning of the day, and I'm just gonna pop this. I don't know where to pop this. I know. Yeah, I'll just pop it like there to the pretty guy.
And so when Rosanna talks about it being an open space and being allowed to move around, it's also allowing your mind to move around, I think, at the same time, and being free and willing to say, to think, to do whatever you need to. So when we open a space, we always close the space at the end so that all of what we've discussed, talked about, is in a safe place, and we can all go to our own respective, areas and have everything be clean and I think it's bad word, but you know what I mean. But safe as opposed to being roaming as we're going to have it now. So anything you feel, anything you want to say, anything you want to do, don't feel inhibited, I guess is what we'd like to say. If you need to gasp, if you need to cry, you've seen these two already. I'm going to start soon. I just haven't had coffee yet, so the brain hasn't caught up to the rest of me. So please just know it's very, very, very open. And before we start talking about the museum and the collections, walk on over there, get yourself some food, and we'll come discuss over future, because that's a nice way to talk about things. Thank you. And Lely, you're included in the eating, so lead the way. Good, naughty. Don't be shy.
How are you, bro?
I'm good. I'm definitely sort of this one in her commute. I woke up this morning. I'm like,
did you come from North?
Yeah, we've been doing it every day.
We had a plumbing emergency.
We had a plumbing emergency. We didn't have Tulia with us. So,
oh my god!
So I was doing like.
I may have been a bit bitchy.
We needed some adult supervision, but we did it. Also had to turn the water off. We got water spraying out. We were trying to put the tap down. It was just like something off a movie, when you like.
So funny. It wasn't. It is now.
It was pretty funny. So it's been like, I'm always flabbergasted by the landscape of Fiji.
Beautiful.
It's and it's so large.
Yeah, you forget about it, and then no one's driving into some fields. Like every now and then you're like, such a nice drive.
Isn't that a beautiful drive?
Yeah. That's why I like the commute. I like staring at the window.
I actually like that. Yeah, good thinking time.
Yeah.
Good thinking time. Go eat.
Oh my goodness.
You want me to grab something?
No, you can eat.
Yeah, we'll come when we're ready. Oh my God, we got a future director here. Yes.
That is called
Mini director. Mini director.
I told them I'll come back here when I sit on the board. And that's when I'm gonna fix everyone.
Good. Yeah. Oh, they're landing. I think I might have good news about the ambassador. I can tell you next week. You are not in. Is it too late?
We can manage to chop.
Oh, no. I think you're okay. I think, but if you, how much could you chop off? Maybe
We can chop them 5 or 3.
the 3. Okay. I think I might be able to swing it, but just let me, as a Tuesday, I can tell you.
It's okay. Let me know if they put something for the festival. Yeah. Okay, so one thing, like choose like a.
Well, I think because she's associated with,
Yeah.
no, with one of the, is it Queensland University that's doing the ACPEU grant? So she's associated with them, so she's on that panel as well. I think that's how she comes in.
I was wondering how they choose. Not that I was just thinking how does the process.
Did you see Mark said for his thing?
I think he went for that. There's this ministerial. Yeah. I saw Anna's photo and then Anna was like, "Guess who's here too?"
Well, Mark and Zelda. No. I'm grateful. Thank you. Pada menang ke radio.
How's the food? They never disappoint.
Nice. Oh, it's nice. Local place with everybody.
Oh, yeah, I had no idea that music was it because I went to check. I was like, there's usually a boat in the middle. I went, there's no boat. The boat's gone, guys.
It's still there. We've been close for almost 2 years now. And the kitchen is our cultural consultant, trying to open everything up. Just the first gallery. And then we'll open up a second gallery, and then we'll extend the building. All in the new financial year.
I'd like to call it walk through.
But you guys are lucky that you guys get to go because only dignitaries visiting dignitaries from the public. So normally when we have ministers coming into the country, commanders, French military commanders, we just hosted one on Wednesday. The French military commanders they came in. So it's usually their privilege. They host it and then they are allowed to do it. But for the general public, it's okay. So when visitors come in, you just take them up to storage. There's really nothing.
Thank you, Creative New Zealand. For out me,
So have all of you always been Western based, or some of you from Silverside? Silverside?
More technological.
Did you ever come to the museum or no?
Class 1.
Yeah.
12 years ago.
Yeah, that's often what I hear, even kind of like the 50, 60-year-olds in the UK. That's the only time they've ever come was, class 1, class 2. And it's normally at the end of the year if there's enough money for the kids to come, so it's not given that anybody gets to go.
Can't remember any pieces from it. I just remember the book.
She's still there. You got a big show on tonight?
What's today? Friday. No, it's today, but tomorrow we have morning and then Shangri-La and then Bollywood show and then dance fest. So there's 4 shows on tomorrow.
Oh my gosh. Lucky you guys are young. Yeah, we won't tell you what time we wanted to go to bed last night.
Yeah, Tuesdays tomorrow and Tuesdays and Sunday. I'm getting confused. Yeah, this time of year we always like crazy. Yeah. Which is good. That's good.
Yum.
We're not allowed to go upstairs until we finish all the food on the table.
No, my God. Cool, and a lot of you have got notebooks. I know, I was going to say. I've got mine. But anyway, this is where we're going to throw, basically it's going to be quite a lot. We're just going to throw a lot of information sort of in front of you. Let's go, but this is I was talking about the SaVAge methodology. I made my own methodology. So the first one is to cultivate. And that's, again, going back to the VAR and this relational space. When cultivate is not just the research, that it's a research phase, but it's not just cultivating knowledge, it's cultivating relationships, who you're going to work with, and then how that's ongoing. And so, yeah, so in your journey for knowledge, you know, it's not just about the words in a book or something you see, but it's about the people that you bring in and that will help support you, that will help you move forward in your journey for knowledge speaking. And then also, you know, it's when you find the idea or you find the story that you want to articulate. And so you're cultivating. It's just like, you know, gardening. You're nourishing it, and you have to work hard at it. You know, it depends what sort of garden you want. You know, so that search for knowledge. You know, sometimes we get it from our elders. A lot of times, especially with my experience, the knowledge I was seeking, they didn't want me to know because they were scared, because it wasn't from the Christian values. So I spent a lifetime trying to find a way that the Christian values and our Indigenous values can sit side by side rather than one being on the other or one or the other. So I really started to cultivate that journey within me of it's okay to know a lot of those stories. We call them purako. And rako is tree, and so, you know, often our people, you know, we look out to our relationship with nature, and also our relationship to all the atua, all the entities and the ancestors, and the you know, what is your name for atua, for our gods and goddesses? Yeah, so it's a really important relationship. And we'll be connecting to a lot of this when we go inside, because everything they made has come from nature. So it's one of our first. It's one of our first var, our var tapuia. It's our sacred var with the Creator and all that is created. So it's not just for humans. It's not just, you know, it's every rock, every tree, every leaf. So we sort of. Going to sort of, and that's all built into this cultivation period. So, and that to me, when you've got the foundation, you've cultivated, everything just runs smoothly from then. You've already laid a map out in front of you. And so we're going to be in a cultivation period, and then fabricate is my next one. And fabricate is a word, it means to kind of make something. You can fabricate a mat, you can fabricate an iron thing, you can fabricate a story. It doesn't always have to be a true story. And also that involves all the techniques, the handcrafts, and the knowledge that goes in behind it. Like and again we go back to nature. It's about how to plant, how to nurture, when to harvest, how to harvest, when to leave something back in the ground when we've taken enough. So the fabrication is also when we're experimenting with the actual, the fabric, the actual materiality of a thing. And with dances, your body's your main material. It's your main material. But I go back to that cultivate in terms of those stories, those purako, and the story that you're telling. And then the third tenet for the methodology is then we activate. And I always say, again, I put the VAR in capitals, and that's me literally putting an indigenous way of knowing and being in the middle. So I'm not, like, there's a lot of words around like decolonize, we want to decolonize, but I still find that puts the Western system in, still keeps them in the middle. So I'm going to quietly push them to the sides and put your own indigenous ways of knowing and being in the center. And a lot of that starts with relationships. So, but when I talk about activate, I'm really talking about, for me, like how the body, being this genetic material that can hold all our past, present, and future, how when we bring other bodies into experience all our hard work, we're also activating another relationship between them celebrating the hard work that we've done. Yes. That usually always includes food. So when I talk about activate, I really talk about this relationship that you create between you and the thing, the mia. And I think this is, for my experience when I first walked into the stores, I felt activated by my ancestral past. And that's the first thing that I felt. And I didn't know how to articulate it then. I just knew that all of a sudden I felt that the past and the present and the future we were in an alignment because we were sharing the same space. So that's what I mean. And that's why I choose not to use the words performance. I find that we have a lot of performative actions in what we do. Yeah. But it's not performing in terms of there's the audience and here's me. And I'm doing this thing for you and you watch me. Yeah. That to me and I do performances, I read poetry, I do all sorts of, and I have a very performative practice. But the heart of that practice is creating spaces, creating these bars where all these relationships can be focused into sharing the same time and space. And for me, that's a really powerful embodied experience. And I feel that is what our indigenous ways of knowing and being can bring to us when we're really in that space and we're not just performing for an audience. So just something I wanted you to think about in terms of activating your bodies and your relationship to your audience and your relationship to things all around you. And then as Katrina said, if you open a space, and today we've already opened our relationship with each other, and very soon we're going to open another relationship with your ancestral past. So it's important that when we finish at the end of the day that we close that space, because there are realms that they belong to and realms that we belong to. And that's when the past, present, and the future needs to be arranged in their particular spaces. Otherwise, sometimes deep movements can happen. So that's something I want to, So at the end of the day, and food's an important part of that too, to keep us noa, to keep us sort of in the realms of everyday. because a lot of the beautiful Yao that we're going to be meeting has come from ceremonial. You know, there's a lot of everyday things as well, but there are some pieces that we're going to meet that will be ceremonial. So that's something important for us to remember at the end of the day.
Just like what you were saying about the relational space, and like that you are in conversation with the audience rather than like a traditional like performer observer relationship. Like we have like sort of like a philosophy that we've developed recently, which is like creating magic moments, like moments where you can like shift and change and have a spiritual awakening or like have, you know, hope. And we discuss this all the time about developing like a figure 8 energy, like, and it's the vibe, the space between. And then like you as a performer, activator, and you as an
Thank you.
activator,
Don't use that word anymore.
you know, you are giving into that space and you are receiving that space, and like, so like I'm just trying to translate it to some of the language that we've been using in the studio, like, you know, that figure 8 energy that we're always talking about, how it grows and you know, depending on
And it's
what is
reciprocal, isn't it?
Yes.
It's it's what I love about the figure 8, and at least that point where it crosses over.
Yes.
And that's a really important space.
So I'm just seeing like a lot of parallels between like the language around what Rosanna's talking about activating spaces, and it's not just people, the environment, it's the Yao, it's the, all of these things. So yeah, so just like bringing that into what we've been just talking about recently.
Well, perfect time to hand it over to our Dr. Katrina Eggers.
No, we don't leave the doctor. I've just realized, Rosanna, that all of these lovely young people were probably about 6 last time you and I were here together activating the space. So you would have like no idea the last time we were, the 3 of us, our little triangle here, were all together.
Yeah.
So we'll have to do it again soon. You'll have to come back.
Yeah.
Right?
I think we need the inaugural Fijian SaVAge Club
I feel
meeting.
like that's a thing
Yeah,
now.
I think that's a thing. Okay.
So I'm sorry we don't have a big screen for you guys, but I'm going to turn this around to figure out how to make full screen. And so when we start talking about museum collections, like Lily really beautifully articulated, I'm going to start using the vocab. Museum spaces can be really contested and really controversial because museums, and this is an ethnographic museum, so ethnography means the study of people and cultures and things. And so ethnographic museums were and are European constructions. So it comes from European, intellectual thought that things from other cultures need to be in places that other highly intellectual people can come and see and look at and meet, but never really intended for the cultures that are. And so when kind of colonization happens, and British, French, Americans, Europeans of any kind started coming into different areas, the Pacific especially, museums were set up for the purpose of the European communities being able to come in and look at these different cultures. So, excuse me, they're really contested entities in themselves. And it's an Enlightenment kind of period thing, so 17th, 18th kind of centuries. And the Fiji Museum itself was formally established in 1904. It was called the Fiji Historical Society, and it had many, many different homes until, including the caves behind here during World War II. So in the 40s, the collections were all in the caves underneath the British High Commissioner's residence. But this building was established in 1955, and it's been the home of the museum ever since. There have been 2 additions onto it. So this is the main hall that you see. And then over there is the 2nd edition, and the stores where we're going is the latest edition in the back. But nothing has been added on to the museum aside from this veranda since kind of the early 80s. So the Fiji Museum itself ranges collections from all over the world, really. It's not just indigenous Fijian material. There's a lot of material related to the Girmit tribes. Also around the Pacific Islanders, especially to do blackbirding. Blackbirding was a form of indentured labor, kidnapping, as you guys will know. So a lot of Pacific Island communities collections are housed here as well. There's also later history. So once government was formally established, a lot of governmental things really have come into the museum as well, and they're really boring, like camcorders and digital, radio equipment and things like that. But the ethnographic collection itself is about 10,000 strong. So there are about 10,000 Yao objects, Tonga treasures. We don't like the word artifacts at all. Artifact is a really archaic word that takes away the agency, I guess, of ancestral being, knowledge, treasures. Objects is, also slightly bad, but that's understood kind of around the world. And so within these 10,000 pieces, there's also a 3,000 plus photograph collection here at the museum, also archives, so documents, manuscripts, bills, everything, and that's housed in the library, which is the building to the back of the museum. If you look at anything they'd like to, but not many people know it exists because it's not actually physically in this building. So, and that's remained open all throughout COVID, and it's still open every day, 9 to 4. Yeah. So if you'd ever like to go, please visit. What we're going to be looking at today really ranges from a lot of Fiji's kind of migration history into Fiji. So Fiji was populated through about 4 different waves of people coming in. We all know about the Lapita people, the Melanesian migrations, Polynesian migrations, and this new gallery that is being worked on is all about Fiji's voyaging history. And it's not just the indigenous voyaging history, it's about to labor, blackbirding, European, it's all included in this gallery, and we'll see some of that upstairs as well. For Birmingham, which is what this wonderful workshop deals with as well, we've got they've got beautiful, beautiful collections from Fiji. And we're going to museums because and revolve around the body, especially. So that's what we want to talk about today. So I'm going to start with Birmingham so that we get our heads kind of fresh and in place, and then Rosanna will be able to see as well because this is over here. Yes, and then we'll keep. I'm trying to do some social media right now. Half an hour. You should have seen us yesterday trying to test this out. It was quite something. So, besides museums, what everybody knows of museums, do you guys keep cultural treasures around the house? Do you consider them cultural treasures? What do you think? Yes. Yes. Yes.
I would like to think so.
Yes. And do you use them in an everyday kind of way, or no? But they're always kind of there, and you can interact with them and touch them and be with them. And that's kind of what we need to think about museums moving forward, is that it's not places where things need to be shut away and need to be away from everybody. It should be a very community-oriented, community-based thing that you can interact with freely, just like you would at home. And we talk a lot now, don't we, Lily, about museums without walls and moving into the community space. And that's what we need to start thinking about in museum context. And that's what Rosanna and all of her work is really good at, because as she'll show you with the SaVAge Club rooms, it really blurs the boundaries out and breaks the barriers between us and them and us. And
what should be behind glass,
exactly.
And what why it should be behind glass. Yeah, just sort of trying to challenge them to look at it's easy for them to be displaying other people's stuff, but it's when it's not other people's, when it's yours, you have a really different relationship with it. So that was one of my first interests. And I always wanted to break down the glass because I make things. So I'm always wanted to go, is that how they made that?
And you can never quite see the things that you want to see in the way you want to see them when museums present them. And that's why it's so important too that young people get involved in whatever kind of sector or sphere you're in. Just because this is a museum and somebody is a painter or somebody's a dancer doesn't mean that they don't come together, and they shouldn't all come together, because different ways of seeing and different ways of being should make up the experience. And that's also what we're trying to kind of encourage more often in this space. So I hope you can all see this beautiful lady here. If I move forward a little bit and not block that with my thumb. This Matakau, so Matakau is a female ancestor figure. Some of you may have met her in Latvia. And she is from Vanuatu. And she was collected in the 1870s, I want to say 60s, 70s, by two brothers that bought some island here and did all sorts of things, and then went back to the UK. But she's really special in the fact that she is tattooed around her waist, and she's also tattooed around her mouth. As I think a lot of you know, tattooing is a female-only practice done by females on females. Incredibly prestigious and required for Chiku women to take part in order to kind of keep moving forward in their lives and to be accepted into the afterlife in the appropriate way. And so this Matakau has lived a long life and has been in Birmingham since, when did you say, the 50s, I think. 1950 she came into,
I think it's when she came, yeah.
But again, taken about 100 years later, earlier out of Fiji. And she's really special. She's really special because she comes with her own little liku, and she comes with her own little necklace as well. And interestingly, when she was in Lakma and when she came to the UK to Norwich, I don't know if any of you will remember, but she did not have a liku on. And it was a strange phenomenon that the museum would not allow her to travel with her. Outrightly refused that she could come with what she was meant to come with. I think it's conservation reasons. That's the only thing that we can think of. And I've tried to find the emails, but they're probably lucky that I can't find them right now. But it's anything fiber related. Museums take very seriously and they take very strong stances on fiber traveling and being part of exhibitions and the way they're cared for. And that's also where conversations like this need to happen, because fiber, masi, val, voivoi, all incredibly durable materials. I mean, mangi, it's used to make canoes, it's used to, bind.
Or you just make another one.
Or you just make another one. And so, cultural heritage, treasures, were meant to be passed on. We're meant to live other lives. We're meant to die, in a sense. They're meant to, they're ephemeral is the only word I can think. They're meant to be made, used, disintegrate, another one made, used. So museums, again, are really contested, because what happens when, these beautiful things get stuck in this parallel of just living forever and being stuck without, their communities or their people. So you guys would have seen her like this on this side.
Isn't it interesting that presenting an ancestress without her skirt on is not shocking to them?
Yes.
And then if you think about it, imagine if that's your ancestor and she's been put on show, full frontal, with her mana compromised, because somebody in a museum thinks that the skirt is more important than the actual presentation upholding the mana of a cultural, of an ancestor. So this is things like this really get me going. That's what I mean. Sometimes all these feelings come up that and it can, so it's trying to find ways that we can, instead of just, throwing, I call it, instead of just throwing stones from them from the outside, but I really feel that as artists, we can help people look at something in very different ways, and this is it's all food for thought for us today. Like for how if you get the opportunity to meet this matako, how would you like her to be seen, or have you got gifts for her? Have you got a story you would like to tell her? Like, how can you collapse time and space and create a space where that her past, your present, and the future being your children can actually sort of, I always say, kind of reactivate them, because at that point you're all in the same space. She's living through you and you're living through her. So these are some of the things I sort of started to think about when I started to interact with museum collections when I was far away from home, and I didn't have humans around me anymore. Well, not many, I had humans, but just as a craftsperson, as a maker, like, and I went into the museums, that some of these things really shocked me about what they think is important and what you think is important. So that's another thing. Yeah, what is important to you?
And if we know anything about, Vengia and Marx now, they're never meant to be seen. They're always meant to be concealed. They are for, very particular purpose. So this poor lady has been shown to the world for, quite some time. And so, like Rosanna said, how can we give back to her, and what can we offer her, and what can we give to her? She is now likud, isn't she? She is really good, thankfully. But she spent a good 2.5, 3 years without it before coming back to birth. So she's done her due. And also, I don't know if you can see this back photo, but the likud doesn't actually meet together. They haven't tied it in a way that actually covers her. So she's backhand maiden 3.0. So, even though it's on, she's still, exposed in ways that she shouldn't be, and it would never be tied in the back anyways. So they're always tied on the hip on the side. So that's another interesting, point that needs to be made about connections with communities, elders, people that can help. And museums more and more now are wanting advice, feedback, assistance from communities.
It's not all bad.
No, it's not all bad. We won't shit on all of them, all the time. But knowledge is power, transmission is power, sharing is the real power, and that's why we all sit here today as well. Oh no, tired of me talking about it already.
She's like, I haven't got my liku on, mine.
I was just getting to some more good stuff.
So how many of the matako do you think are out in the? Do they have that sort of information?
There isn't a lot of information in that sense, but because they're ancestral figures, both male and female, there's more female than there are male. We have a really large male matako here, and I think he's about as tall as me. He's about 1. Whoa! He's as tall as me with his base. He's about 1.5 meters without. And he was returned back in the 1980s, I believe it was, and he was taken by an Anglican minister. But there's a lot of matako outside of Fiji and outside of the Pacific, because
when missionaries were converting, the first things they wanted to take were anything related to pre-Christian religion, because then that would immediately take a lot of the influence away. However, it's a really interesting story with missionaries, because they didn't just take them and destroy them; they took them and sold them kind of around the world to make money to further their mission,
Fundraising,
their mission causes. So that's how a lot of them ended up in museums, because the museums would then buy them and then end up in storerooms, basically, because they weren't fit to display at that time. And then they've stayed in storerooms, really, because nobody has had a lot of knowledge. And that's where we need to think about this cultural heritage sector really seriously, because we need to get indigenous voices within the museum space and within these positions that know what to do and how to guide as well.
And also it's that journey too. It's not what they were. We have lost some knowledge. But I think that when I talk about past, present, future, I also think of it's what they can become. What can they become to you? What can they become to your next generation? And I think that's a really amazing concept when you start all of a sudden going, oh wow, it's not just a fairly interesting carved wooden thing in a museum. Yes, you've got, which is how that they objectify them. You'll read the label. You'll be like, thanks to the work that Katrina and the project's been doing, you will have an indigenous name, and then you'll have wood figure, 60 centimeters by such and such with a material, blah 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 blah. And of course, what does that tell us?
That's a question. Why and how did they make like is it like each one is based on a person when they die, or what was the first? Did anyone know what?
Some were the ancient rules, so some were based on Dene, kind of the totemistic kind of rule of each region. But some were, and it's not just matakala as in like a person's form, clubs to form, ancestral people and names as well. So yeah.
So for example, that one, like she's quite intricate and she's got a tattoo and like I don't know, would she have been based on a real woman, or she is a real woman, but like is that the process of how they're made?
Yes, because you need to have you need to be able to offer to your ancestor a physical sense of offering.
So one more question. So would it be made, like if it was based on, it's really interesting. Yeah. If it was based on a person, would that person still be living, or would they have passed away? They'd be dead. So it's like a homage almost to that person.
A way of keeping them in the present.
Okay.
Yeah.
If I'm correct, they were usually stored in the wood glow.
They were, and that's why you will see upstairs Guru Kavandra. She's really, really black, and she's black from the soot of the fires burning in the wood glow when the Mbete were talking to her and sharing.
Well, it's 11:15, so we've just wrapped this up so we can do this stuff.
That's her, by the way.
Oh wow, that's amazing.
And so she is she's hook as well, so it's different from our first girl. So she would be hung in the corner of the board below, and then offering draped off her hooks. And she once had arms, but those have been long gone. And she is also tattooed, and she was also liku, but the liku has disintegrated into just a ring around your body. Here's another matakal who you guys would have met in Lakma as well. And she was repatriated back to Fiji by Fergus Clooney. None of you young people will know who Fergus Clooney is, but he was once director of the museum, and he spent a lot of his time bringing Yao back to the museum. So she came back to Fiji, strapped into the seat of a Qantas airplane with him in 1987. He did not want to put her in the cargo hold like they told him to, so he bought her a ticket and strapped her in next to him.
He said, "Don't you dare tell me what to do with my treasure." So we love Fergus. Fergus is a lovely human being. This is our man here. He's not anywhere to be seen inside because he's so large. So he's unfortunately still in the crate. So he was 177.
Yeah.
It's amazing. And when he stands, he's one of the most powerful things I've ever come across in kind of Fijian cultural heritage. He's very commanding. A few other adornments and related things just to show you and give you an idea if we want to make, create, see, work with, to offer to our matakau in Birmingham, which we'll see upstairs as well.
Are those whales?
They're full whale's teeth. So this one's called a sisi, and you don't see this very often anymore. You normally see the waseka, which are the curved. Yeah. Waka's up here. Wachni waka. And this is a spondylus shell. This is a savui. And these little beads that you see here are trade beads. So this really talks about the interaction between Europeans who came in and Fijians, because trade beads are they're trade goods and so currency. So Europeans brought them in, and then they began being used. That's why muskets came into Fiji. You know, you see muskets on masi even, inlaid masi. So just like clubs were inlaid with whale ivory, muskets became inlaid, and those became cultural treasures as well. Anything that could be inlaid was inlaid, I think. There's our CC. That's a detail of the binding here. We can come back and you can flip through them. Oh, hello screen. Here you go. Bulikula. There we go. She's not out, is she? We'll see. And as everybody knows, $100 bill. Yeah. And a really nice thing that when the money was changed, they came to the museum and said, what treasures can we put on the money? So all of the kind of things that you see on the money are housed in the museum and are cared for by the museum. Yeah, breastplates, Viva Vona Vona. So these are the composite ones. So composite means that they've just been put together instead of being one big piece. And these are pearl shell and whale ivory, so sperm whale teeth.
And is that the technique that the Samoan boat builders share? This is when I love when we start to see how our cultures shared knowledge and technology and actually some of our shared histories. Because so I believe they were from Manono. They would come over here and that's how that technology. I love it. You see, you get a Fijian going, oh, making a boat. Oh, hang on a minute, I could do that with my, instead of having a big thing, I could do that with the whale's teeth. So that's that creative mind. Takes a technological sort of method and then produces something of absolute beauty. So I love that.
And then so this is Viva Tambua. And you can see the front. And this is the back side. And the back side is this beautiful color, because if you think about tambua, when you see the really, really rich tambua, that's because they have been rubbed in oil and then smoked. And so this back side, often people thought this was the front because it looks slightly more beautiful than the back, but it's because it's been against oiled skin. And so it's rubbed and it's rubbed, and then it's kept in masi. And it's just, the oil is absorbed into it, and it creates this gorgeous color. And you see that on a lot of the backs of any kinds of adornments, necklaces. And that's why, museums often show them back to front, because they don't understand which way is which.
Who usually wears those colors?
Only men, I'm afraid. Yeah, chiefly men. However, before we lose too much time, women, gay women, and also these were often worn by women, men as well, but women. And we think this is a child's one. It's very, very small. It wouldn't fit on any grown-up's neck.
Or maybe it was on a mapaka.
Or
could have been on a motorcar. Maybe ours needs one of these. I think that's the last I had to show. Oh, and this is a last composite one that you can see. But shall we go upstairs?
I think so. Yeah, we'll pack up. And
so when we go up, no, but if we can leave bags and things down here, we can take paper. Pencils are preferred. If we don't have pencils, we'll just keep the pens closed. And we'll, because there's so much stuff inside right now, we'll just have to remember to stay single file if we can and kind of spread out in the space instead of clumping up, because there is stuff everywhere. And that is not an understatement. Yes.
Essentially, what you've created is a bit of a map, like a skeleton, to build up a little piece of text, and I'm calling it text because it's people always have such a preconceived idea about what poetry is, and so I'm not going to use that word because it's sort of, we're just going to create a piece of text that we can share. Now, and this is one of these workshops, there's no right way in or out. There's some people, like when we did this exercise in Fiji, some people just broke through. I mean, but the only rule is you have to use all the words. And for this one, we'll have a little bit more time, okay? I'll check in on you in 15 minutes. Yeah, 15 minutes. Play with your words. Some of this way will give you things that maybe you wouldn't think of connecting those words. But when you physically play with them and move them around, things happen. Yeah, you can add words, you just can't take them away. Change the tense. Don't forget you do many different versions. Sitting up, come and sit on the floor so you can really start. And don't forget there's that other space down there. You can add. So you can add, just you can't subtract. You can change the tense, you can put different things in. Yeah, there's another big space down there. You can really put your words out. For those of you who are sort of used to words, that's why I like this, because you can literally just keep chucking it around. So you're like, oh, hey, this kind of something. It may be that you do exactly these words, it's just that you read it out in a with a particular rhythm. So you might not even add anything. You just might think, actually, that's enough. And it's really weird what comes out when you do this. You totally. We're in a safe space to share. Yeah, M-A-M-A. Yeah, no, it's such a good word, it means powerful, dignity. It's got all sorts of other meanings. You can lose your mind, build it up. So I always just go with from using somebody else as long as you understand the word. So as long as you know what it is.
I can't make it work for me. I'll just interrupt you from very busy work. Why did that we could put the fiber pressure? Yeah. Let's just do that. You're determined. It's just it's really annoying. I need to do it. This is funny enough. We're on the street. Do you just want to? Yeah, just looping.
I love it. And also, can you send me an extra? Like, who's this? Do you know how to do an extra? I know, like, staring. Like, oh, and you're like, yeah. I know I'm not used to it. It's really weird because I actually don't kind of up here. I'm not thinking these things, but like, look, when I did this, it's why you could trick yourself. You're like, oh, yeah. It's like, oh, but you knew what was coming. I know, and it still does it to me. It still does it to me. This exercise. I only stop when you push escape. Okay. And it was original button. It was. It's always a little button. I think you could apply that rule to a few things. Where's the bathroom? In the gift shop. Oh. Why are you laughing? Because it's really weird, but it tickles my fancy. Oh, Oprah, yeah. Thank you. I like Oprah. No, that's great. I'm really the flowers really hungry.
Are these pictures from the PG?
Yes. We're outside, dripping with sweat. There was a thunderstorm. We were out on the merino. It was just like, this was in an art centre, yeah. And there's the young girl who made some of the pieces that we put on. I know, right? Oh. I just love the way it was just expands.
I'm sure he was taking it and I did my writing. That's a great picture.
It's like earthquakes bringing it all crashing down.
Did you take these pictures of
We've had so many earthquakes.
Yeah, it's all quite fun.
It's usually a thought.
Oh yes, I should, because I'm.
These are great. These
I'm,
are better than the pictures I was.
I'm notorious for like not hearing. I do that as well. We've got so many photos from so many times. check on us. Yeah.
Feels like your bake off.
It does. Break off. I'll check in on everybody in 5 minutes.
What is that 1 minute?
I'll check in on 5 minutes.
Oh,
okay. We'll try and aim to be finished in 10.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Wow. Get wasted. Oh, I did awful, I guess.
I would expect it to do yeah, that's a good conversation. Yeah.
Straight from the hotel.
I should ask what makes that.
are you going? 5 more minutes and then we'll start. Oh, cool. Do you need a bit more than 5? Next. Yeah. Yeah, this is definitely, these are something we can later. Yeah. The book launch will be programmed for. Great.
No, yeah, that's what you said. I think we didn't even do in 16 minutes.
No, remember I said you could add words.
Yeah, well, I added 2.
Yeah, I might do 1 minute. I'm trying to make it fit without adding words.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's good. These are like quick little ditties that you can also take away and then we can really develop them up. Yeah, this is what I've changed it all here.
Last time we did this, I was done in 2 minutes, and now I'm having a really hard time with this.
Are they at?
They went through Houston.
Are they at Birmingham now?
No,
No, we just got on the last train.
So I think SaVAge will be here about 4. We'll be at the station about 4 o'clock. Yeah.
That's a long train.
Yeah, man.
What about state land again?
They're going to be like mammals.
They've probably gone to sleep and way past Birmingham by now.
That's my biggest fear, you know, is falling asleep on a train.
It's about an hour and 58 minutes from Houston down the cross train.
No, I think they. I was worried about them from the beginning because, like, they don't know nothing about this place. You know, so from the sounds of things, they've got on a slow train because they get in at 4. That's not. They've got to Houston. They've got to Houston.
What's that
Make sure to get up D Street. Actually, we better tell them. They might not even click to that. It's just like had nothing to do with their travel. It's one of those, oh, they'll be fine. And then this morning they're like,
Yeah, boys.
yeah, they
I thought they would have given them a better way to come. Like, I thought the way that we came was.
Yeah, I would have thought they would
Was
just.
not the best one.
No, they were the best. Like you got from the airport, got on a bus, came here. I was like, hallelujah. And I thought that's what they would do.
No, that was, I think, in the end.
No, that is the best.
It's so easy to find. I was like,
this is surely not the
Yeah.
best way you could do
That is
it.
the best way. Like these guys have got to the airport, get their luggage, get to the train station, get to Paddington, get to Euston. Like I was like, I was like, anyway.
That's okay. Well, it's not okay, but if we're going to be really tired. Hopefully they'll get them a taxi or something.
Does Will and Nick know they're coming?
Yeah, they arranged their transfer.
Oh,
That's why I'm like, surely they got them a taxi. Just gonna skip this one over.
So I kind of, no, I sort of did it fast and I was like, I'll just tweak it. Right, it's 2:34, so we should all gather. All regather and just, we'll just have a little sharing. I mean, it doesn't matter if they're not finished. Oh, yeah, I gave myself a word where I'm like, oh, look at that. Look, it's matching the wallpaper. Woohoo! Did you see that?
Keep pouring you around with the camera going on.
This was an Auckland museum, so this was us looking at the original Gentlemen's Club collections. So these are all like really dodgy versions. And you can see, like, this is what we. So Nigel Brown's he's the head trader of Mild Town. And by the end of the day, we were like delirious, cracking really inappropriate jokes and stuff. Then we went in and looked at their all their books, their reports, and minutes. So it's just like looking at this handwriting that you have to go, oh, this is terrible, SaVAge beauty contest. I mean, there's some stuff in here that just makes you totally cool. And these are the guys. So you get basically, yeah, I won't say he. Yeah, that's why we sort of, yeah. Oh, and this is, oh, I lost the title. Right, no, but I'll do better versions of these, just all my snaps. So there's the back room of the Fijian Museum.
Don't look too close.
Yeah. They actually, I put them because they're from Rangers culture. They're the, I can't say it, Zuzu. And he's a dog guy, eh? Dog face. Yeah, there's a legend about the dog, the human sort of face being quite amazing. And this is a contemporary art gallery in Suva in Fiji. So this was us making these new. We imagined if we made new garments, what would they be? So we're making us some dance. Yeah. And that was the bow crew who were probably going to do a response live. I know there's got a few arrangings to do. It was yesterday.
It looks so cold.
I like the next one. I love that. All our heads are up. I'll do a better edit. That was just me sitting here listening to you. Going, I thought I was going to do it this morning, and I think she's like, we had.
Oh, you guys are great. You went to the gym.
We went to the gym this morning.
Where you staying?
The jury's in. They got a nice gym. It's a nice gym. And we've been completely besotted with these colours. So we're looking for body paint of that colour. So we're going to body paint our bodies to sort of become warm, but that's why we're going to the gym. It's going to take more than the gym, maybe, but you know, I just follow behind it. As long as I can touch my toes. Yeah, I'll fill some more in. All right, you lot ready? Yeah, these are your glasses. Ah, thank you. Yes, so, some of these. So this was the presidential chair that one of the presidents.
That photo,
Yeah, and he can't. Yeah, you got it. So you start going, oh. And that ticky could be actually like because a lot of before metal tools, a lot of them were quite. That's the one everybody makes fun of, but then Nigel was like, oh, actually, it's probably the most real thing there. We're all those are the pins.
So wait, the things that were like a presidential chair, they just made it up. And then we're like, this is.
Yeah. That's so logic. So I was like, I just want my own garden. You guys stay right there. Like, you just stay over here. And then I started reading all the. Oh, God, yeah. They were pretty. Oh, shit.
What year would that be?
Oh, I think that one was 1950s.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. That black and white photo. It was like, but they went from 1889 to 1989. They did over 100 years, and then they. I love this dude. He looks like he's got a piece of chalk in his hand and he's about to draw. Then all the boys thought I was taking a picture of us. I was like, that was a little ding-a-ling, but I was like, was not. Okay. How was that exercise?
It's hard standing up.
So you must have good words. Did anybody get surprised by what sort of words came out? Yes. Yeah.
When you have words that sound on or I said out. You know what I mean?
It's like, yeah, no, yeah. Who's used to doing any sort of creative writing? Creative writers, yeah? It's like, what are they? Yeah. But actually, I use, this is actually quite an amazing technique, even if you're like doing school essays or something, and you get stuck. A lot of us are used to either thinking of the great big picture or thinking of in sentences. So sometimes you just stop and break it down one word, pull out words, and then literally by rearrange, like physical aspect of rearranging, actually leads off all sorts of things. So it's quite a good, and depends on what the provocation you give yourself to what direction you go with the writing. Sometimes I thought we were going to, well, the collection, like, set everybody out there and like a little clipboard and write all the little words down, but actually we've seen sort of enough, so, but it is quite. Now, have you got any brave souls that you'd like to share? I say looking at, yeah. Should I go first since I make you guys do it? And you know what's interesting about this? this exercise, it still amazes me, and I never get bored of doing it as a workshop. There's a lot of workshops this is, and this one even surprises me. And it's hard to do too. It's not word here. I'm still like.
Do we have to say all the words that we translate?
It's like no.
But what if you what if I say a word, but you don't know the word?
Just I've actually got I've written some words that I think I've just words. I mean, there's so many different ways. I mean, sometimes I used to get people to read out just what the words are and then read the poem, so you can get just that. But it's just this is it wash over us. So this is my own. There is a sound that vibrates in brown shame weeds, heard in the cultural overtones and hidden comments. And it has been hibernating with afterward, revealing bloodlines, shared connections, new genealogies, and life and moly, life force that won't go away. Thank you. Oh, thank God. Then what is something that I would develop later? Freya, why is your turn?
The connection of time and physicality of sand, oil and aluminum, tools, trailers, the generosity of the sand. Existence of Russians research our stories shared, retelling of deities of Greece and the deserts, considering back and forth is a burning wood. Dialectic from Western shell and clean, very grass-fed eyes, but but the last never third and years that same.
Okay, you know where you come. Come on, you and it doesn't even share with us what.
Why am I realizing myself maybe? Or is it on the person level? I've consumed so much for so many knowledge that at times it's really tiring. I'm not much trying to but I'm learning to receive good. Maybe I'll be biased. That's it. Wow.
This energy, my ancestor's energy, this mana, my mana, will never go. When will there ever be our mana once again? This memory, was it ever my memory? This sense of the unknown, or is it really just a facade of the fear of my own loss, not knowing my history, my ancestors' history, this history, this space, this sacred space has been lost in time. This flow of spirituality and mana pushes me to grow its strength throughout me. This warm glory, this soul embarrassment, this feeling of warm glory will not have a hold of me anymore.
Wow.
So I start off with a question. So, what is my culture? A question that often makes me feel intimidated or nervous. I'm so accustomed to drinking together, watching video, and I never took the time to appreciate things as harmony and live and our beautiful brown plateaus. The ethic craftsmanship behind these creative presents meaning and power. And let me be a SaVAge
Yes, it's right with me. I was struggling to get my head back into bed after this morning, but yeah. So I guess for me, it's been a lively discussion, filled with learning and provocation, to talk about treasure that's been too long hidden and as filled with shame. It's been emotionally positive, filled with talk about placemakers, and I won't talk about attribution and terminology anymore. It's been surprisingly groundbreaking and filled with possibilities of return. Tired spirit, fresh spirit, root home. Heavy fruit, so red spirit, root home. Marking dignity, marking protection, eating, root home. Mana energy, mana spirit, root home. Spirit rest, root lifted, root home.
The room smells of loss and grief as we honor the sacred ancestral technology. This morning I put on my armory of adornments, carried up and paid to protect my heart. And now we are looking at breastplates and protected walls. I run my hands over palm caliber. We exchange mana and ashe. I think of the time I don't know how things are separating us, and what else is stored in the dust and chaos. Nostalgia is a privilege for some, for me it's just
Group voices and perspectives and powerful sharing, learning, living custodians and artists. Young reveals from usually strong gaze and delicate minds. Ownership we own. Ownership brings anxiety and responsibility. I can't remember what Sorry, terrible.
Oh, yeah, what is terrible?
Oh, it is what it is. I took my 16 words, and there's not many more on my text, I should say. Mindful of the friendly happiness moving over the green stonework, creating a texture of sound. Organising appreciation of bright vision opening to a historical liturgy.
Oh, mine's very good. I have to say, I had a very hard time with this last time. Yeah, sometimes it just flows. The beauty, the dignity of paired voices, togetherness, precious. Reflections of power and pride, but also of loneliness, of shimmering ripples. But whose privilege is this? Access, aggregates, accountability, and venture unexpected. Whoa. Wow, all right, to get all of us. All right. Thank you. I know this sort of not great, but I'm glad I tricked you, because if I sit here and look in and think you're going to write a poem, and you probably could have just gone on strike. And not come back from lunch. So that is like, we've got some amazing sort of words there. We definitely would love to share them with our motto there, you know. But the ones who said they're not finished, they sound pretty, you know, they're like very good. But we've still got one session to go, and then we'll close up
day with the Sulaiman did Easter in the recent August, bring up the expression. So it's, I think our next one was at 3. Is that right? Do you want to like bathroom break stuff? Yeah, we'll be back at 3. In 5 minutes. I know, it's such a little secret.
Which one am I operating? Yeah.
Oh my God. I know, what are they, what's going to happen to these afterwards? I think so, I think Pierce did that probably hit them in the office. Cool. Like, yeah, I went to Hawaii and that's where our last clubroom was. And I went there this year and the boss who had the other one is not my other mate's place. So it was great. Good fun.
small session with Rebecca's like, not me, mate. Like,
I can't do hardly, but yeah.
she's just here for the party.
Yeah, I'm just here for the party, for the good call. I'm sorry that I missed this morning. I wish that to hear more about
Yes, well, we were fascinated because we said Did you need any?
Even through, I've only got a couple of images, but because we, what substitutes being used for the student, that's it, isn't enough, so. Is it outside?
I know, and now that you guys know my connection, I'm probably on the spelling because I spelled wandering wrong for years. And I finally get to use it like properly. I just keep like spelled wandering wrong. He spelled for 30 years. I was in constant building. My mate's like, you do like you like. So I was like, well, you always spell that morning. Yeah, yeah. I always thought it was Americans, like the dumb Americans that would spell it in my right. So you can tell me how did you know? Okay, introducing the one and only Victoria Osborne.
Thank you. So I'm going to keep this quite short and quite informative. I wanted to talk a little bit about the experience of working on the SaVAge project with Rosanna and Jamie and Biz, and just to provide a little bit of background really, but also it felt like it might be a way of leading into the conversations that we're having towards the end of the day, and sort of pulling together some of the thoughts around the last couple of days of conversation. It feels like most of the provocations that have been raised have been around the relationships between museums and their audiences, and particularly with Indigenous communities and with communities of origin of some of the collections that museums hold, and the ways in which we work with different communities and with artists to reframe and interpret and display those collections. And it feels like perhaps taking this project as a starting point is a way of perhaps beginning to kind of open up that conversation about how museums can work more ethically with audiences and the way that they interpret and display their collections. And indeed to open up perhaps more fundamental questions about, is it possible for museums to work in a truly ethical way, or, as we say towards the end of the day, is this a question of breaking the whole institution down and wrapping up on something entirely different? So, just because we've been spending the day in space, it's an opportunity to talk a little bit about how this project came together. And it was a very unusual project in a number of ways, and one of the things about it was that it came together incredibly quickly. I think, Rosanna, you said when you've done projects similar to this in the past, it takes maybe 3 years of development or more, and this one came together in probably about 4 months, start to finish, so it was all done at total breakneck speed with amazing energy. And with the added complication of the COVID pandemic, which restricted travel, so it meant that essentially all of the development remotely is actually only this week. This was on January, to be able to hear us a bit into flesh. Perhaps just to say a little about my own background coming to this project. As I mentioned yesterday, I'm actually, my background is in the Western Art Historical Commissions. I've been in Birmingham for just over 20 years as Director of Fine Arts, and I work mainly with European art and the British art. So actually, the Raphaelites that Rainbow was mentioning earlier, that's very much my normal starting ground. So I came to this project really having zero knowledge, really, of specific collections and cultures, but sort of the collection here. So it's been a very steep learning curve for me. I think arguably that there were advantages to that too, in that I wasn't coming to this project with any perceived knowledge of my own. So I didn't come into the project with an opinion of what should be displayed. I think probably the only artifact that I knew was really important in the collection was the visual analysis. And beyond that, I really knew very little. And in some ways, I think that made it easier for me to then completely kind of see any control that I might have as a curator, and to be able to basically go to someone and say, what do you want to show? And so my job is very much not really to be a curator, but more to be a facilitator, and about how can we realise the vision of these collections. So the way in which the actual selection process works, my colleagues in collections management put together a huge spreadsheet of about 2,500 data in the collection, which Susanna and Jamie then went through to select the pieces that they were most interested in, basically largely working through the descriptions. And just as you were saying, about the some of the descriptions in the database of the Fiji Museum, we had very similar issues with the ways in which our collections have been described historically. You mentioned about the kind of crudely carved. I've changed the description of our Fijian figure, which was previously described as crudely carved, and so there's still a long way to go in terms of looking at those descriptions, but that's an instance of something being changed through this process of working on this project. So essentially we started with this process of kind of creating a long list, and I went to the collection centre and took photographs, and it was from that Rosanna then refined the list of what would be shown in the gallery. And alongside that process, Jane was developing the designs for the laser wallpaper in this space, which was derived from some of the bark cloths in the collection of Birmingham, and it's spectacular. It's created this wonderful space with its very particular contemporary Pacific identity. Perhaps if we have the next slide. So I wanted to show this image because back in November 2021, I went to the Museums Association conference in Liverpool. And this was at a point where we knew we were going to be working with Rosanna, but I think we hadn't really fully begun the conversations about the project here. And At the MA conference, Rosanna was presenting a panel with Lisa Rehana and Barbara Sante. And it was a panel around international artists and decolonising approaches to European narratives. And as part of the paper, Rosanna showed a filmed piece from which this is a still. And I'm showing it because I was very struck by watching that film, in which Rosanna, wearing different regalia, moves through spaces at the Museum of New Zealand, so gallery spaces and also store spaces as here. And I'm showing this still because I think it was where I began to get an understanding of the power of Rosanna's practice in terms of the power of her living presence as a living Polynesian woman within the museum space. And I think particularly within the stored space, these kind of sequences really gave me a sense for the first time of this strong disconnect between the living context in which these taonga, these artifacts were created and used, and the way in which they're stored within Western museums or within Western frameworks of knowledge. And there was something about those very kind of sterile museum storage spaces, which are created in a particular way because of the physical preservation of this material, but that create this real disconnect from the meaning and context of power of what these materials actually signified and still signify to communities and peoples now. So this was a sort of beginning of thinking about what this project could mean in terms of our own collections here in Birmingham too. So this space essentially brings together a range of different materials within one room, or within a series of 3 spaces. So there's historic material from Birmingham's collection. There are contemporary artworks by artists associated with the SaVAge Club, and then there are taonga lent by the SaVAge Club artists as well, and they're all brought together, integrated fully throughout this space. And Rosanna and Jamie's vision for space really defined the ways in which the collections from Birmingham would be shown, and meant that we very much stepped outside our traditional ways of working and our traditional ways of displaying those collections. So if we can see the next slide. So these are 2 examples, and I was going to take you over to look at them in the flesh, but just for convenience, and as this is being recorded, we'll have a look at them on the screen as well. So, Rosanna, I think you were showing some Symposium, these mannequins earlier on. These are mannequins which bring together those 3 different types of artifact on a single mannequin, and that's something that's very different from the way in which we would normally display our historic collections. So here, for example, this mannequin is wearing a historic shell head ornament from Birmingham's collection, a bark cloth sleeveless blouse. This is a TT from Birmingham's collection, historic fibre skirt, but it's layered over a skirt made by Rosanna. And then another of Rosanna's skirts is being worn as a cape over the top. And then there's this SaVAge Club necklace, which I think is by Numa.
Yeah, I made it, but the engraved got the shells.
So this is engraved with the SaVAge Club logo here. And then there are these 2 artificial viscous flowers, which Rosanna, I think you sometimes wear as backhand maybe as well. So you have here the historic and the contemporary and the artist made all kind of coexisting in a single piece. And it's these kind of juxtapositions which create this very powerful meeting between the past and the present within the display, and which enable the historic collection to have a real kind of living resonance and presence within the room here. Similarly, on the right-hand side, there's this amazing 19th century Maori kiwi feather cloak, which is being worn with a feather head ornament from the collection, and then there's a SaVAge Club made necklace, which is slightly obscured in this image here, but there is a necklace made, I think that was by George. Yeah, also made the feather. And for this piece in particular, the display of this piece, I think, sums up some of the ways in which the approach that was taken with this display was new for us as a museum. So ordinarily with a piece like this that's incredibly fragile, and also because it's made of natural materials, is subject to risks like insect infestation, we would normally display a piece like this behind a barrier or within a case. But it was really fundamental to Rosanna's vision for this show that this piece should be open, should not be separated from people within the space, and in fact that as people move around the space, that the feathers will move with the movement of people as they circulate around the room. So it was very much about not... Sorry, Rosanna, I feel like you would say all this so much more eloquently than me. I feel speaking before you, but the reason I mention this is because of its impact on our normal kind of display practices, really. So, you know, it was so important for us to show this piece as Rosanna wanted it to be shown, and so it was your suggestion, I think, that it be shown on open display but high, so that it can't be touched by visitors, but it is fully within the space. And so that was a real departure for us in terms of how we would normally display that piece, but it looks wonderful, and it has a real power and meaning. We would not have it was within a musical case. And I think the other thing to say about this space is it absolutely doesn't feel like a normal museum gallery. Although we have some of the Victorian cases here too, it very much does treat the space of a place where you actually gather and connect with what's on display, but also with other people as well. So this is very much about the living meanings of these collections, as opposed to just their preservation as physical objects. I think that's something that has really made me think about the way in which we show these collections. And I think what you're talking about yesterday, Jamie, about cultural preservation and about preservation through use and through context and through meaning rather than this pure physical preservation, I think is really thought-provoking, and it's very different from the way in which museums are traditionally focused on care. And I think that's, you know, those are the kind of conversations which are really valuable for us to be having and thinking about in terms of how we look at our collections. So the other thing that's very different for us, was one of the most rewarding aspects of working on this project with Jamie and Rosanna, was the importance of the kind of cultural practices that accompany every stage of the development process. And particularly every stage at which we were working with the childhood collection and also the designer loads from the SaVAge Club. So the whole process was punctuated by ceremonies and blessings and parakeets to mark each stage in the process. And I think that was really important in terms of us keeping in mind this kind of living reality of the collections. And it certainly changed my perspective on working with those historic materials in terms of thinking about their kind of living significance and the preciousness that they have. And I'm showing you here, this is a ceremony that we held here the morning that the display was due to open to the public. So we had a gathering, it was a kind of hybrid, because of COVID again, it was a kind of hybrid gathering. So we had the museum team and Fierce gathered here, and then Jamie and Rosanna joined us on Zoom. And then Tash and Johnny from Beats Polynesia came and led a ceremony here outside the space to kind of open the space ready for the public. And it was really, I think for everybody in the room, it was really electrifying this moment when Johnny was giving this kind of chant of welcome before we entered the space. It was so powerful. I think, well, you probably know that Johnny will be coming on Friday for our event here as well. So we wanted to have that, and actually Tension as well. So both of them will be on Friday. But I want to end with just one other image from that morning. And I think this is an image that for me sums up the experience of working on this project really. So this is a moment during that ceremony where Johnny was dancing in the room. And I was sort of standing kind of behind here, so quite close to her while she was dancing. And there was this moment where she was dancing next to the Fijian ancestor. And it was incredibly powerful and emotional and moving on a very visceral level. There was something about seeing this young, vibrant, very beautiful young woman dancing so gracefully next to this figure that is so rare and precious and so far from home. And it's just in that moment, that connection between the living and the dead, and the past and the present in this space, it just felt incredibly powerful. And it's very hard to describe, but it sort of put me in the gut suddenly. And I think it's probably the single most memorable moment of the whole project, because it just felt like it summed up for me what it can be when the past and the present meets in that way. And there's a phrase that I don't know whether it was Rosanna or Jenny who both read the text on the outside of the space, but there's a line about this being part museum, part mausoleum, where the living and the dead meet again. And I think there's. Oh, that's just.
I know, right? Like, wow.
It's a great phrase for us to give, because I think it's that power of that historic artifacts can still have, the meaning that they still have, and the way in which a moment can bring those things together. So I think I'm going to end there. I think I just wanted to end there as well. I just would thank Rosanna and Jamie and Trina and Raina, everybody who's come for this event, and just everybody who worked on the project as well, because it has been really special. And I slightly struggle to articulate that, but it has been a really special project. And so I just want to thank everybody for everything you've brought to it, and also for the kind of emotional commitment that you've all brought to it as well, and a lot of kind of energy and spirit that you have as well. Because I know that's a lot of the way I was with you as well. So I just sort of kind of so I'll finish there. Perhaps we can run for a
Yes, absolutely right. Really has been a two-way thing. That's why it sort of happened like that. Oh my goodness. So anyway, it just naturally segue into our discussion time, because we can wrap this up really. So it's like, it's definitely kind of all the projects that I've done up to this time have sort of kind of gotten to this point. And it was definitely, we were talking about, we say we get here, it wasn't sort of like getting, suggest things and they're like, and they finish laughing or giving me that look. And I just recognise the look. I realised how much work we have to do, so it really has, every time we engage with a project like this, it's sort of important. Hopefully, it's, it carries on, because it is, so hard. There's always something else to do. There's always funding, not funding. But that's why then sort of maybe someone should jump on this cooking. Telling these things. I don't know the hell we know. I'm so sorry. It's on. It's on. Yeah. I know. So it's definitely going to be exciting for Friday when we sort of actually. I don't know. And it's not saying the bar room and look what we see or humans in it. It's like, so it's great. It's a great little space to create on viewing crowd. So, yeah, and it's pretty said, honestly, who's done this job, definitely, yeah, I'm really good at pushing people right to and so, you know, it's been so full of grace and kindness. So it's just been wonderful to be able to create something really special. I haven't even been able to do this in Aotearoa, New Zealand. Yeah. So, you know, really want to be done for me. Yes. Sort of like, so that's totally our next week. Yeah, so good. How's everybody feeling? You're feeling like a bit tired? Yeah, I think it's just that time of day. But it's 3:30, so if I reckon we could even, you know, possibly finish with kids how we discussed, we can finish early, or finish early, and sort of kind of open up this space, this conversation to how we did yesterday, little things on mind, with maybe sort of thoughts or sort of solutions. Like, I love solutions, like it's always great going, oh, why did you do this? But a lot of times you need an actual kind of way to do it. It's no good just, you know, saying like just in a vacuum.
I was thinking for people who don't work in arts or are not artists, how do they get opportunities like this to access the cultural items and community collection? Because we are privileged that we are able to approach museums and like doing festival with this like access to these items. And when you were explaining how in Canada, like Indigenous people can go to the owners of the collection and say, we want this for ceremony, things like that. Like how would we then, for example, aware that there are cultural items that we use in the individual like
It's always a challenge because we have an election centre and we're very open to have, but the challenge is sometimes making people aware of what we have, and as you said, communicating the idea that actually, this is your collection, this is your collection, belongs to Birmingham. And I think it's particularly a challenge when we don't have formal collection online.
Yeah.
So, but other parts, it's very there's I mean, I think it's fair to say we're doing much more work with lots of different communities locally and lots of outreach and engagement work around really trying to reinvent what music is, and that very much goes with the vision that our new CEOs exactly so have museum about being a socially useful institution, socially useful organisation that's much more open, more transparent, and more available to people. So I think it takes quite a long time to break down some of those barriers, but we're certainly trying to build relationships and and there's an opportunity for a kind of a reset. The fact that we're closing again at the end of this year, actually in November, and reopening 2024. So that's a period of rethinking about what displays we would like, but also during that period we need to think about how we can access the collection when it's not on display. So that's a really big change for us. But else you'd like to know about how we use that to help projects?
Yeah, well, I think there is, like Victoria says, there is a real sea change to SaVAge across. You know, that the youngest and most diverse leadership in the country. And one of the reasons I wasn't here this morning is we've got a massive funding application going in to bring all of the collection online in the next 10 years. So that will be a real sea change, even though it's not perfect. You know, this, I gave you an example of a crudely made object, like you said yesterday, in that discussion we had this morning, but that will make a real difference. And we really want to, we've got ambitions to open like a new research centre around collections, and basically interpretation will be led by communities that we co-research on the collection. Obviously that is a while off, but that's the ambition at the moment. So there is kind of big dreams and big pictures that, you know, we hope will make a massive difference.
Can I make a suggestion maybe? Research centre is a fabulous thing. Is it going to be called a research centre?
Okay, no, I think that's just yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Because that's also quite exclusive.
Yeah.
In what research and even what education means, and because we talk about this a lot in Fiji, and that, you know, people aren't educated past a certain age a lot of the time, and the idea of education in a museum is really off-putting because they don't feel like they're welcome in the space, because they think it's like a formal education kind of thing. So, you know, thinking more the access word again, thinking about learning and access and all of that.
What would you call it then?
I'll have to think we're facing the exact same thing because, you know, the board of the Fiji Museum want to create a research center as well. But it's a really, really difficult thing when it's not a word that the majority of the population is receptive to.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if you want to think about bringing communities in, it needs to be in language that will be really comfortable.
Yeah, I think the Auckland Museum definitely were really trying to look at what would the museums that was and how that they could bring them in and how they actually take the collections into schools. And yeah, I mean, we got trained up actually. Rena and I, we did a series of workshops where they trained up Zuni, Aaron, somebody else, Bethany, and they sort of chose sort of some collections that were hardy, you know, so they traveled. And literally would be in a box, and then we all got sort of, you know, trained in hand and to teach people how to handle them. So yeah, we got trained other people too, especially when you know, as a lot of them like, I don't do that. Or like, you know, maybe holding like words, you know, a baby, and it's just all these wonderful things and different workshops associated with it. And then of course money fell through and all that training that they put into us, which was a lot of training. It didn't kind of, yes, it's so hard to get one really good idea and another person can learn one single book. But I was so looking forward to it because I really love the idea that the museum's movable. It's not just a wall, and it actually has to be without the wall. But that means you can go out into the public and yeah, so they have teaching collections now. Because yeah, it's still like just the learning centre or it's not a research, it's a learning centre. We've got to build a place.
Because then we had the pop-up version of the museum, and then it's right that that is a lot more accessible to some where it's so far away from the museum, it's geographical and it's money for travel.
Pop-ups here have been quite successful as well. Like Plymouth has done really good pop-ups, Paisley in Scotland. pop-ups. Maritime Museum does pop-ups because they're in a very disadvantaged area of London, so they go out as well. But I really like what you said about teaching about handling. I did write that down in what Karen handling into visits too, because I think something as well, communities, you know, they want to be able to hold and be in touch. Their things, and it's really off-putting to kind of have it put on the table.
Yeah,
you
feel
like you can't touch anything. And so, you know, teaching care handling, it's not about, you know, telling people that they're wrong, but it's also almost in a way about helping everybody, because, you know, we all have this thing at home. You know, there are some very special things, but the majority of things in collections people have in their homes if it's their culture. So it's almost then teaching them how to preserve and look after their own collections as well. So it's twofold, I think. And also things are dead in museums. That really bothers me. All of our ancestors, all of our tonga, all of our treasures, they're still living and breathing things. We are just the ones that are animating them through our actions and our words and our touch. And so even though, you know, they are historic collections, they're still very meaningful and they're not underground. Yeah. And like our ancestor is still our ancestor, she's not.
But I think artists, I think it's we have a really damaging wrong. We become like these bridges between the communities that, you know, and I think it's a great role that I really enjoyed. I think it's helped me grow and significantly, like, it's because artists do, you know, do look at something maybe quite differently. So I think, you know, yeah, like collaborating with people like Fierce and local artists so that, you know, it might get wet. Yeah, but that's a long time to close. You know, sort of, yeah, definitely collaborating with other artists. Yeah, and finding what, you know, sort of like, I did a project with Cluman's Museum. My sadness is still closed. It got went on fire before it left. So that's from 10 years now. That amazing little museum is closed. And but they did this. We had two crazy things. One a museum and pub, and we were at a pub. But we went up to they had booked a room. I mean, it wasn't just a pub. But like they booked a room and they brought out a certain time where it sat there and the locals would come up to the room and do things. I thought it was incredible. And then another one they brought Tama out for a Pacific Island day, and they bought so they just so they do pack it all up and pack things and took it out. But I think the New Zealand pub one is that's like Brits, you can't laugh at it. Yeah, you three have been very, very quiet. And I'm sure and we would love, especially for the three of you, you know, who's this one is probably the first one, I would love to hear some more from the three of you about.
We won't all stare at you either.
Yeah. But yeah, I'd love to hear some more about your experience. Hear a little bit through the poems that you just created, but I'd love to hear some more from you. Nothing.
No, I think it's just a lot. It's just a lot to take in. Like even though probably saying that talk, it's a lot.
Yes, you'll probably go home tonight.
Just like to be like how like and just like I've never seen statue like I've never actually seen it. So to just see it, I'm just like that's part of my history. But I don't know much about it. So I think our poems will speak for us. Like the three of our poems, the main feeling is like
don't know, like we don't a lot.
Or like at least like we think we a lot, but then once we come in, it's just kind of like open our eyes in, almost like actually we know nothing really. Or like we need to kind of like indulge ourselves like in our culture more, you know, like see like what I realised with you guys, like you do your research, when you're interested in like you try to go further to a movement, and then after you think you have it, you want to do your own things and like kind of similar. So I think that's the stage where we need to get at. So like yeah, so like I said, like I don't believe that. Like at the same time, like I remember was it yesterday, like seeing some of the like special and stuff like that, and like different companies and stuff. Like we'd never seen anything like that before. And we're just like half of me is like, oh, this I feel like it's been hidden from us. But then the other half's like, I'm actually happy like they've been preserved in a place so that now we have an opportunity to see it. So, yeah, and like I don't really spend time in like museums and stuff as well, so like this is like a big, it's like a big thing for me. And I always thought museums were like a boring place, but no offense. No offense, but like I always thought it was boring, but now I'm just, oh, you know, they're actually not that bad. Like, and if there's like you apply yourself in the place, you enjoy it.
I think because I've never seen my parents like before, and especially at a museum about my own culture. So it's like, sort of like, I think it's just a long ride, especially with single parents and stuff like, because so much has already been taken away. Why would they want to go to someone else to learn about their own culture? Because it's like a slap in the face again. It's like I already don't know anything, or like I don't know enough, and then it kind of makes us, in a way, I think that's like our own thought process, like self-sabotage, like, why am I going to someone else to learn about my own, which I actually know already? So it like stops us like a barrier again from going to learn about things. So just seeing it like this and just like learning about the, you know, how like how we used to do it in Fiji and how they don't really do it like that anymore is eye-opening, and it's like, it's really good, but it's really sad. So it's like a lot of emotion as well attached to it. So I think that's why there's some certain type positive tradition that you still see today, but then there are others that you won't see anymore, either because they don't practice anymore, or even just to organization, or like just because it was shunned. It's been forgotten. So it was never able to be passed down from my grandmother over to my parents. So it's like we know enough to be like, yeah, I'm Fijian, but then it's just like there's no control, and there's been seen. So yeah. So I think that's
Can I just say something though? Like, I don't know if you guys ever get it, but like sometimes when I see something that's Fijian that I've never seen before, I get a bit like intimidated. I'm like, is that even a thing? Like, am I looking at, is that even Fijian? Yeah, I actually get that. I've never seen it. So I don't know, like, do you guys feel like the same way when you see?
You when I first, it's when I wrote they were definitely my teachers. Yeah, and then that's when I realised, because I never seen it, that's me.
Yeah, right, that's it.
And also it's quite hard to, it was my grandmother, and sometimes she'd be like, oh yeah, or never seen it. And then, and so yeah, like what I was saying before, then you go, oh, well maybe it's wrong, but then when I started to kind of research in different ways, and we can see another little and then when I started to see a lot of the same thing, it's when I was like, oh, okay, this is definitely a thing. So I was always backing it up with like 3 different sort of references, like you know, see it with your own eyes, and then kind of read it, and you're like, oh, who wrote that? You know, so let's see if you can read it, you know, and then I suppose one of my frustrations came because the church was so strong within our community. I got a lot of you know, this well, what do you want? You don't want to know that. Yeah. Well, why do you want to know that? And then you don't need. So it was so hard because I just keep getting blocked. But that is where the museums and all the books and that's when it opened up a whole new world. So then I started pestering again, and then just and then some of the elders they kind of like, oh, well, this one's not. Yeah, they like my family was called me pagan. Because it's the only way they can kind of relate to me. Because because I was always wanting to know the old ways, which they were like, no, that's not going to do you any good. And it was so all that's I'm in my 50s now. I worked a lot of this out in my 20s and 30s, and that's actually with one of my collectives, like sisters. We're with the arts collective. We've been going for about 30 years. That's, when we found a whole lot of it. Oh, you like to say having that same experience, and so it was then together that we really started to unpack and sort of understand different aspects of our culture. And because there's only a few of us that end up in the museum world too. I still get, oh, what do you want to go hang out with bullheads for? Like it's really I don't know, some of them are quite nice, some of my friends, so it's like really is like building a proper relationship.
Well, coming back to our parents, I think we have to remember too that they had a very different experience than we did growing up. They weren't allowed to learn about history. They weren't allowed, it's still not taught in schools proper Fijian history. My mother, they weren't allowed to learn any of it at school. They learned European and British history. They weren't allowed to, they didn't learn the language at school. Luckily, they all learned it at home, but as soon as they left the house, they spoke English. There was, it was none of that. And so it's almost like concealed fear in a sense as well. Like I'll say things to my mom and she'll be like, oh, and then kind of just walk out the room and just not even wanting to engage with it whatsoever. And because they weren't allowed to. And their parents weren't allowed to, and their parents before them weren't allowed to. So it's a really, I think you guys are, our generation weren't even technically allowed to because our parents didn't have access to it. You guys are the first, youth, young people generation that has free access to all of this.
It also makes me realize just how much we are of who lives there and who's practicing. Like, we think about, but also which is right here.
Yeah, because it's hard, and then some of the elders that are really carrying that knowledge aren't here, are they? Or you find them, and then you've got to build up a relationship with them because they're not from your family or your village, so they're like, we are spoiled in New Zealand. Yes, you are.
Yeah, they're just. Do you feel that we talked a lot about repatriation and return, but if these connections were here, you would have to go to Fiji, I guess, to connect with them potentially. Or if there was none of these treasures were in the UK, then how do you feel about returns of what's your
I honestly feel that it should be returned.
right?
It should be returned. I don't know if anyone would say the same way with SaVÄge team. I think just it should be returned. But then, like I said, it should be returned. I'm grateful that they've been preserved here over all the time. It's now obligated to see it. It's giving me an opportunity to see it. I've got to go all the way back to Fiji as a Fijian in the UK. I've been able to see them over here, which is a blessing. But then, honestly, I think we should just
Here's the example that how meeting house that was been here for over 160 years, and she's just about to go home. And that's decades of conversation all around. What I love about it is they're like, look, like, she's so sensitive, she's just feeling interested, it's like, what happens when they're carving a new house, give it to them, and taking their old one back. But I feel like this is more keeping with our people in terms of exchange, because our people always exchange. But they always, it was like, I get you go good, you go me, so it's like this lovely sort of reciprocal thing. And I always feel that's where museums, where the reciprocality, that's where it stopped all of a sudden. It just became a real one, no exit, no turn, sort of deal rather than I owe you, there. So, I'd love to see, and of course a lot of all these beautiful bridges did circulate through villages, families, through things like communities, and where there's potential. Yeah, like, we did this for this time, and we did this, and we did the suspect, and we did this, and we got one of those. How about we have, so that, in New Zealand, they use the term Kaitiakitanga, which is, it's not ownership, it's sort of more, it's guardianship role. So you're just a caretaker before it gets handed to the next. And I think just that little mind shift changes a lot the kind of meaning of your role as museum practitioners, sort of that are, sort of the guardians of knowledge, treasures, and I always feel like that, and the development of relationships is just as much, and its use, it's a big one for me, is that, what is conservation, what are you trying to pursue? Is it a thing, just a thing, or is it, and then it's for all the things that's around the thing? And I think that's what got lost in early museum sort of practice, and it's now sort of been pulled apart all around the world. So it's, at least now it's like you're not by yourself, you know what I mean? You're not in a vacuum, you can actually look at other good practice around the world and then actually pick what suits this space. Yeah, because it'd be interesting, like don't forget these other museums you can go to. British Museum, Cambridge, so it's, and even tiny little places in the middle of nowhere, just be amazing where our stuff is
They will likely not know if it's Fijian or not, but you can just ask to engage with them, because like I think I said yesterday, almost every regional museum in the UK has something to show.
I think also because of when you come to a museum and you see a history on display like this, I think it would have been harder if you guys were something like that. I think that's why it was really nice that we were able to be here and actually see someone from explaining our history to us, because I wouldn't have been able to process it if it was like an English teacher telling me. I would have been like, why So like to me, just like Katrina, like she's Fijian, like I was just like so amazed when my first much better. Like I was like, oh my gosh, she's Fijian. She's gonna show us like Fijian. And I was like so happy, and I was like, this is amazing. Like I think that's why this an amazing workshop to include more kind of, because we're all connected, and to just see like it's harder to explain to someone who doesn't know the culture or who's never been exposed, like to explain like things like mana, like you would just say that. Like I don't even have to explain it in the word. But for Pacific Islander, you just know what it means, like when you feel it. So just to sit down and just like have a fun little session like this is just nice, and it's just like reassuring, like, oh, it's still time to learn and stuff. And and like to pass on the knowledge and stuff to the younger generation, like even that come after us. Because like even just like speaking the language, like we don't speak it, but I can understand it and I'll respond in English. But I would love to speak in English, just fluently, without stuck or just having a minute left. But yeah, it's just lovely to see it on display and stuff. I've never experienced it, so it's beautiful to see, even just to see Maori art or like pieces from Solomon Islands. It's so amazing, like, and you can see more connections through the pieces of artwork. And even though, like, even now, I think it's all a bit muddled up. Like, you can't really. There's a lot of marginalization between specific groups, and it's like, if I'm better than you because this, and that. But we really are like one and the same. Like, we're all connected and we all share a bit of.
Well,
share a bit of culture.
some of this.
So thank you. This way.
Just coming up to 4. So I think that's how's everybody feeling? I feel like we've sort of come to a natural end. So it's been time to close this off. Oh. I know. It's we could do just as a final close off, just go around the room and just everybody just say your last hurrahs, and then James can just for our final sort of final advice.